The Obama administration accidental book club that broke out in 2009 was over this book, Lessons in Disaster by Gordon Goldstein. It's a book about what happened in Washington to make the Vietnam War such an American disaster. It's told through the lens of the man who was National Security Advisor to both JFK and Lyndon Johnson. The bottom line of the book is that Johnson escalated the Vietnam War even though he didn't want to, even though he didn't have to, even though he shouldn't have. And had Johnson not been president, had he not been in a position to make that mistake, had John F. Kennedy not been assassinated in 1963, the huge escalation of that war, that ballooning failure of American involvement in that doomed exercise, it wouldn't have happened. Eisenhower was the first president to send troops or advisors into Vietnam in the 1950s. After Ike came John F. Kennedy, sworn in 1961. And yes, Kennedy did escalate the number of Americans there, but it was really after Kennedy was killed in 1963 that the numbers of U.S. troops in Vietnam go through the roof. And it's hundreds of thousands of American troops for years and years and years, and an American death toll that hits 50,000 and then keeps climbing. I mean, LBJ didn't want a war in Vietnam. He campaigned against it. He said it was a terrible idea. But once he was president, he escalated it like a house on fire. Nixon said he had a secret plan to end the war. Nixon didn't have a secret plan to end the war. And the insanity of that war just dragged on for years and years and years, that escalation that they couldn't get out of. It started in the 50s, it didn't end until the 70s. And even then, it was lost. And the president who came after Nixon even made a half-hearted effort to restart it after it was over. When the Obama administration started in 2009, the new president and his new administration let it be known in ways large and small, including letting everybody know what they were all reading. They were letting everybody know that they were cognizant of the lessons of the escalation in Vietnam. They would not keep dumping more and more live bodies onto a losing fight to compensate for the fundamental pointlessness of the fight into which those lives were being thrown. Students of Vietnam, admirers of JFK, say that had he lived, 58,000 Americans would not have died in Vietnam, and that war wouldn't have stretched through 3 separate decades. In the Vietnam analogy, the new Obama administration aspired to be JFK, not LBJ.